Everyone I've spoken to at Mojang says the leaks are not coming from them. That is your official answer, but unofficially though, it sure seems like a lot of these leaks are coming from someone inside Mojang because it would have been so easy to fix if they wanted to. Couple that with leaks that are vaguer than they ever need to be, and suddenly we have a big question: are these leaks happening intentionally? Let's start with the case against this, because I think we need to start with the biggest thing people need to know. They shut down Roger Badgerman, and there's a lot of misinfo about this, Reddit posts and tweets, and even a 3 million view short right here that says,
"I've already had one leak from notorious insider John, aka Roger Badgerman."
Nothing against Camman here, because I'm not sure if he came up with that himself or if he just heard it somewhere else, but this isn't confirmed or even claimed by either John or Roger. Roger definitely claims to be someone else because he says he doesn't exist on any other socials, and so as a result, you can fairly easily say that Roger and John aren't claiming to be the same person, and even deeper we can say that if Roger Badgerman was shut down and John hasn't been, that means that either John is the Mojang spokesperson and Roger isn't, or they were both made by Mojang, they're both the same person, and for some reason Mojang decided to DMCA take down themselves, use a vast overreach of copyright law, and that wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. Is that what happened here? I think it's very unlikely. If Mojang went through so much work and indeed used the legal process to take down Roger Badgerman, it is very unlikely that Mojang is Roger Badgerman. And speaking of people being someone, hello, I'm OBXToyCat, and on this channel I like to ask and answer some of the biggest Minecraft update and news questions you probably have, and today I want to talk about Minecraft leaks being intentional because this is a growing conspiracy theory about clearly John being someone at Mojang, and I want to start with the case against this being true. And obviously we've heard about Roger Badgerman being shut down, but what about the fact that Mojang went through a lot of effort to stop developers sharing things about the game themselves? It used to be commonplace in the pre-Microsoft days that a Minecraft developer like Dinnerbone, or indeed Tommaso, would just share something they were working on, and it wouldn't always come to the game, but oftentimes it would, but it would be an incredibly exciting teaser as to what someone is working on at Mojang. It used to be developers could share anything they wanted about the game, and so the way that we learned that Redstone would do this fun thing on the Pocket Edition, or now Bedrock, was because a developer decided to tweet it. The way we learned about search and the way we learned about elytras was done in this exact same way, because guess what? Mojang developers used to be able to share whatever they wanted, but nowadays it's a bit more corporatized in that announcements have to come from a centralized Mojang HQ, and so why would Mojang put all of this work into taking back control of announcements and then leak their own announcements before they came out? This is effectively the old situation, but worse for everyone involved, and so it seems very unlikely that this could be true. Indeed, if we go a little bit further, could we talk about the fact that the leaks that have come out have been so close to features coming out in terms of time that Mojang could have just announced these features themselves. The things that Mojang would benefit from being shared most, though, are the things that are in progress for longer, the things they want to build more hype for, and the things they want you to do more than play around the Minecraft update. Take, for example, their new game that they are currently working on. That is something that hasn't had any leaks. The Minecraft movie had basically nothing about it leak, or even the most profitable things like, for example, brand new Minecraft DLCs. They could use these leaking sources to make themselves quite a bit of money and build hype for the things that Microsoft are trying to push as a game, but no, instead the leaks seem to be things that are just about to be announced anyway. We never see a leak of something that comes from, say, concept art internally that might not be worked on for months, and to me that kind of implies that they're coming from somewhere late on in the development process. After the everything has been finalized, in this case we're getting leaks for Minecraft Live after the show has been recorded, which makes it seem like it is a leak that is happening somewhere that is fairly tricky to actually nail down, rather than, one of the, top 5 people at Mojang that just secretly runs the John account on the side. It just doesn't make any sense to me that they would only leak things that are already about to be announced unless they are someone that is deep in there, because if it was Mojang, they'd be able to build hype for things way in advance and also for things that are more profitable. So those are my biggest 3 cases for why I think Minecraft leaks aren't intentional. But at this point, I know you're screaming at me, Toycat, but you're forgetting about this, and so let's talk about exactly what this is, because I think the 2 big answers you probably come to are either this one, the trial balloon Wikipedia page, which I'll simplify down and say that it's very common in large organizations to have something go out as a test announcement and then use the reaction from that to decide whether you'll do something for real. Leaks are something that are great because you can have plausible deniability that this was never officially announced by you, and so you don't have to do it. And so what if Minecraft just uses John and Roger Badgerman as a way to send out trial balloons? This would explain why the the image posted by Roger Badgman that was eventually taken down and eventually led to the closure of that account, that would explain that they were just testing out this idea and it wasn't very popular. The same could be true for why John has had a 90% success rate with their leaks, but every now and then they leak something that never comes to the game. It could be that they are sending out trial balloons and seeing how people react, and when no one cares about horses as much as they care about fireflies, they add fireflies, but they stop caring about the horses. This couldn't be done in official announcements, and indeed, if we look at the Wild update, they sort of did this themselves, where they said, here are all the things we're going to add with, like the concept of the mangrove swamp and the concept of the deep dark, and then they said, oh yeah, here's some some concept art for what we've been working on, and they showed some birch forest improvements, and people were very upset that the birch forest and indeed the fireflies never came to fruition, and so it could be that they tried having these kind of casual conversations about wouldn't this be cool and using the reaction, and it didn't go down very well, so now they're having them via leakers. That does make some sense, you could argue, and indeed I think that it especially makes sense when you consider that isolating leaks is so easy when a company wants to. Think about TV shows. The entire files for these go to people who do the captioning, who do the editing, and outside of Game of Thrones, it's hard to think of a TV show that leaked in its entirety. The same is true for tech. I mean, when was the last time a major Apple thing got out before they were meant to? And even Minecraft itself didn't used to leak. It is very easy if a company tries hard enough to prevent leaks, because, to put it this way, if they suspected, say, 5 people of being a leaker, they just have to give each of those 5 people slightly different information and see which of those pieces of information leaks. This can be in really subtle ways, even, like slightly different developer builds. Maybe some of them would have blueberries, some would have purple berries, some would have green berries, but you could do really tiny changes and eventually work out who is leaking, but Mojang hasn't done that, which means that either they are in control of the leaks themselves, or they don't really see the leaks as being a high priority. It's hard to say which of those is true here, but it certainly seems like Mojang is at the minimum turning the other cheek based on this, and I think that the third and perhaps the biggest point here is the fact that these leaks seem to have been, at least in the John era, limited in scope. If you are John and you really are leaking from Mojang, the brand new feature, why would you say S-Pair rather than Spear? You might think like, well, he's not actually leaking the Spear if he says S-Pair. Legally he can defend himself, but he did leak the word Nautilus, which means that, again, if there is any link to that word, why would he not say N-emoji Nautilus, for example? Everything that John does seems very, very weird, and honestly, the weirder things get, the less likely it seems that it's a developer who's just insistent on sharing things, and the more likely it is that it's someone who is having a lot of fun building up a mysterious profile. Maybe that's the reason that you have to hear about leaks via a second or even third-hand source, and so as a result, I think we could say that these limited in scope leaks, combined with the fact that it is common for places to do their own trial leaks, combined with the fact that many companies can fully stop leaks and the methods are tried and true, and, Microsoft, if they were really upset, if they felt they were being upended, they would do that. I think it's really easy to say that these leaks have to be at least tacitly supported by Mojang, and John and Mojang are both in some kind of an unofficial agreement. However, if we're going to conclude, if we're going to try and answer the question in if we're going to try and actually come to a middle ground answer, I think it would be to say that the only person who knows for sure is whoever runs the John Minecraft account. I think that there are 3 distinct possibilities that this is, he's called John Minecraft because he's a figment of the Minecraft marketing team's imagination. It could be that he's a Minecraft developer who really doesn't like not being able to share things, and so when they're working on something really cool, they share it in this Discord channel. Notice how there were no leaks of the summer drop, and there weren't any leaks of the copper drop so far, but then we're getting some for Minecraft Live. That seems very interesting. It seems like a developer that maybe was working on the Spring to Life drop and now is working on the Winter drop, or 1.22, whichever of those happens to be announced. But if we take that, we could say that, okay, maybe it's a developer working on those things, or maybe it's someone that just has access to certain files that are shared internally, because ultimately, these are the biggest and most shared things. Minecraft Live is an event that was recorded and sent to so many different people, and maybe John is one of the people that knows someone in that pipeline. Last year, we saw the entire Minecraft Live show leak because someone decided to just post the entire thing on Reddit. By the way, very, very bad advice. They got very, very seriously in trouble for that. But I think that it could be something like that, where someone worked out early on that they have access to certain Minecraft information, and they share some of that with John, or maybe they made their own account, or maybe there's a collection of lots of these things being true, but I certainly don't think that this is intentional because it feels just a little bit too rough around the edges and a bit too much like they're trying to please the people with their announcements rather than direct them in a certain way. But that would also be what Mojang would do if they didn't want their cover to be blown and they wanted to have an elaborate system set up for people like you to speculate on. And so I think that it ultimately comes down to the problem behind every conspiracy theory and ultimately any story that relies on people lying. If people are willing to lie and they're willing to get Machiavellian about it, then they're willing to lie on multiple levels to cover up for their existing lie. And at a certain point, you have to, trust what is publicly said, and you have to trust the fact that John claims to be a Minecraft insider, and that's all you can ever truly know, because everything else relies on constructing weird webs of maybe truths and maybe not that I don't think will lead you anywhere productive. And so to answer the titular question, are Minecraft leaks intentional? The most we can say is that Mojang is either turning a blind eye or not doing a very good job at catching it, and I think that they are probably not doing this themselves. They're probably just saying, well, it doesn't harm the game too much for now, but will that change in the future? Will there be a Roger Badgman DMCA takedown moment? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you for Minecraft Live, which you can watch live with my feedback and reactions and whatever else you care about right here on this channel. It's also being streamed in a whole bunch of other places, including on the Minecraft official one. They changed their thumbnail, I feel like I have to point this out. Very, very funny that people started speculating on the thumbnail, and so they changed it. But yeah, for now we have no real teasers of it about what will be inside, so we're going into the update announcement entirely blind, outside of what John has said, which again, right now you can't say is 100% truthful, unless you believe it is Minecraft or someone that has really deep access. But yeah, I want to say for now that I am very excited for this. It's rare that you get to the point of an announcement where you know very, very little, but that's exactly where we are, and I'm excited to see more about that in the future. For now though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.